Well, thank you very much. I've got to say the first thing that I wanted to get across today was just how palpable the energy in this room is. It really is a fantastic atmosphere. And so I want to start by really thanking all of you in this room for having me along to your special day. I know you didn't have any choice in the matter, but I just want to say a massive thank you for you to having me along. And also, of course, to Hult International Business School. I've had a number of dealings with Hult over the years, and I've been always consistently impressed by, I suppose, the lack of stuffiness, but also the real sort of entrepreneurial culture and environment that comes with the school. And I certainly hope that some of that has rubbed off on all of you during your time here. As a cricketer, I've got to say I'm feeling somewhat out of my comfort zone, being dressed in all this garb at the moment. Like, I prefer to have a batting helmet on than this, that is for sure. And I'm not ashamed to admit that my decision to go into the great wide world of professional sport was at least in some ways motivated by a desire not to further my academic studies anymore. And as a result of that, I've done a pretty good job of never having to have a proper job in my life. And so the irony is not lost on me that here I am, meant to be dispensing sage and wise advice to you all about the next stage in your journeys based on my very limited experience. I can only conclude that Hult were really scraping the barrel in terms of availability of speakers here today. But nonetheless, I will try and dispense that advice. I suppose the first thing to say is a massive congratulations to all of you, the class of 2024. It is an amazing thing. Congratulations. Obviously a really special day for all of you, and I'm sure you're always all going through that sort of alchemy of emotions right now. There will definitely be a degree of relief. Thank God that is all over. We've had to work very hard for something and you've come through the other side. There will also be that mixture of both pride and satisfaction that you only really ever get when you've had to dig deep and come through a significant challenge. No doubt some of you will be like me and will be feeling elated that this is the final academic qualification you might ever have to take. But also, alongside all those different motivations, there might well be a number of sort of those slightly uncomfortable and irritating thoughts that creep into your mind. Thoughts like, given this is such a big day for me, why am I feeling a little bit empty and dissatisfied? And for some of you, you might even be thinking about, okay, well, this one's ticked off the list. What is next for me? The truth is the world moves so quickly these days, we rarely have the opportunity to take a step back, smell the roses, and pat ourselves on the back. Everything just happens too quickly. Well, the world of professional sport is exactly like that. For every success you have, there seems to be almost a list of unlimited challenges that come next. If you get signed as a professional sportsman, great, but then you have to prove you're worth the money that people are spending on you. If you make your first-class professional 100, people will go, congratulations, you did well, but now you have to do it more consistently. If you get selected for England, people will go, fantastic, but now we need to see whether you've got the big match temperament to deal with the scrutiny and the bright lights of the big time. If you're lucky, like I was, and score 100 in your first test match, people will go, that's great, but can you do it against the mighty Australian team? If you beat the Australian team in 2005, people will go, well, that's okay, but you need to do it away from home, or maybe you need to beat India next. The truth is, the list of next challenges is limitless, exhaustless, and quite frankly, exhausting. Even if you're lucky enough to lead a team to the top of the world rankings like I did in 2011, the challenges don't let up. Even if you're top of the mountain, there are other teams that are hunting you down, and there are tall poppies that need to be sized back down to size as well. So that is the truth, actually, that professional sport is actually ruthless. It isn't about what you do today that counts. It's actually about what you do tomorrow. And of course, the better you do today, the higher expectations there are about what you're going to do tomorrow. If you fail to meet those expectations, then there's always the chance that you might get cast aside as selectors and coaches invest in others, pricing in their potential future returns versus your current output. So the truth is, in professional sport, you're in the business of winning. That is your raison d'etre when you're playing professional sport, but actually you're playing a losing game. It is in truth impossible to meet future expectations with your own returns consistently. When I look back at this, I think I was lucky actually. Even though I was playing that losing game, I was lucky enough to walk away on my own terms. I didn't get the selector's axe falling on my shoulders, and I suppose I came out about even. However, that didn't mask the very real feelings of dissatisfaction that I had when I finished my career. Did I really achieve everything that I could have? Could I have done more? So I suppose let me get to the point that I'm trying to make here. And the point is this, is that winning, achieving, finishing a project, getting an MBA can't be the goal. If it is, you're likely to be disappointed and potentially demoralized as the next chapter appears even before the champagne corks have popped. My life turned upside down in December 2017 when my wife Ruth was diagnosed with a rare form of non-smoking lung cancer. It came completely from left field. Ruth had never been ill a day in her life. She's one of those annoying people that never got a hangover despite drinking copious amounts of champagne. But you can imagine how shocking that was for her and for me. And unfortunately, it wasn't just that she was diagnosed with cancer, it was that she was diagnosed at stage 4. It wasn't a case of if, but when she was going to succumb to this awful disease. So from that moment on, Ruth was playing her own losing game. The result of this particular fixture was already predetermined. As all cancer sufferers do, Ruth went through that extraordinary roller coaster of emotions, the fear, the dread, the disbelief as she got first diagnosed, the elation when treatment started to work, the utter despair when treatment stopped working or symptoms became unmanageable. But what is interesting is that over the months that followed, something emerged that was very profound to me. And that was that Ruth, over those months, accepted her situation. She understood that her time on this earth was very limited, and ironically, with such limited time, she did less. She made herself less busy. She spent time with people that were important to her. She allowed herself to step back and smell the roses. Ruth died in December 2018. Shortly afterwards, I received a book anonymously through the post called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. For those of you who haven't, Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist who found himself imprisoned in Auschwitz during the Second World War. And really, this book was exploring the difference, I suppose, between achievement and fulfillment. To him, and I think it's my experience as well, success is not something that you can pursue. It is, in fact, something that ensues from living a purposeful and meaningful life. You know, in truth, winning is merely beating somebody else. Achievement is doing something that other people value or aspire to. Fulfillment is doing something that gives you meaning. And for Viktor Frankl, that meant taking on a particular task. It means committing yourself fully to a cause or to a person that is dear to you. He also talked in his situation about enduring suffering, going through something that's very difficult and coming out the other side is a purposeful way of life. And so I suppose, having read that book, I also came to realize that winning is not something that can be pursued. In fact, Purpose and fulfillment are the drivers of success, happiness, genuine satisfaction, all the things that we're looking for in life. And in truth, as we all know, what other people think of you is not something that you can or should try to control. So this learning kind of took me down a different track. I stepped back from a lot of the work that I was doing in English cricket. I launched the foundation, the Ruth Strauss Foundation, which, amongst other things, is helping families to prepare for the death of a parent. I've tried to surround myself with people that gave me a lot of energy, particularly at Mindflick, and this is my opportunity to plug Mindflick here. I know some of you have been using our app and our platform, and hopefully that has been something that's been of value to you, and even if it hasn't, please tell your lecturers that it has. But more than anything, I suppose I've tried not to fall into the trap of seeking success to impress other people. So to finish, what is my advice to you? I suppose it is to be open to the chaos of life. We can all have the best laid out plans in the world, but they can very easily fall into disarray with a combination of many things. It could be recession, it could be wars, it could be pandemics, it can be illness as it happened to me, it can be chance meetings, and it can be those sliding doors moments. Life can change very quickly. And so I suppose what I'm saying to you is give yourself a chance to think about what fulfillment really means to you, and therefore act accordingly. In the words of Viktor Frankl, it does not matter what we expect from life, but rather what life expects from us. Thank you very much.